Most men aren't rejected. They're simply blind to what's already being offered. Attraction doesn't announce itself. It whispers through the nervous system, not the mouth. A glance that lingers, a touch that returns, a closeness that was never necessary in the first place. But if you don't know how to read the signs, you don't just miss the woman, you miss the moment. Because in this world, it's not the loudest man who wins, it's the one who notices. Research shows that women give an average of 13 pre-approach signals before a man even considers making a move. Most men never notice a single one, and the few who do often misread everything. This isn't about pickup lines, it isn't about confidence tricks or dating hacks. This is about the invisible language, the one she's speaking right now while you remain completely unaware. And here's the deeper problem most men never confront. We live in a culture that teaches men to wait for permission, for certainty, for explicit verbal clarity. And while that may be socially responsible, nature doesn't operate on clear declarations. Attraction doesn't come with a label, it arrives as signals. Human courtship is older than language. It exists in gestures, timing, posture. The way she crosses her legs, the pause between eye contact, the subtle direction her body leans, even when her words are saying something else entirely. Behavioral psychology has revealed something profound. When a woman is sexually interested, her body initiates a series of involuntary biological responses. Her pupils dilate, blood rushes to the lips, her voice softens, the space between you begins to disappear. She isn't choosing these reactions, they're emerging from within, they leak. And if you don't understand this language, you're walking through life blind, missing opportunities that were handed to you, confusing friendliness for desire, mistaking desire for politeness, living in a reduced reality. This isn't about chasing sex, it's about learning to read reality. Sexual intelligence is not seduction, it's awareness. It's the ability to recognize the truth before it's spoken, to read what her nervous system is saying when her words are quiet. Desmond Morris spent decades studying human courtship. His research into proximity, intention cues, and pining behaviors revealed a truth few men ever learn. Attraction operates on an entirely different channel. A woman may be talking about the weather while her body is screaming something else entirely. Paul Ekman's studies on microexpressions confirm this at a neurological level. Emotions leak, especially desire. The body can't lie. The autonomic nervous system doesn't ask for permission to respond, it simply reacts. And this is where most men live, in blindness, conditioned to ignore subtlety, taught to wait for verbal confirmation that may never come. Because women, especially women of high value, rarely make the first move. Not because they're playing games, but because they're struck. Cure of sexual selection demands discretion. She signals. You notice. She escalates. You lead. That's the rhythm. Miss the signal, and you miss the dance entirely. What you're about to hear isn't theory, it's observation filtered through pattern recognition and evolutionary biology. 6 signs, each one subtle on its own. But when they appear together, you're no longer dealing with ambiguity, you're dealing with clarity. Human beings are territorial, personal space is primal. The comfort zone spans anywhere from 18 inches to 4 feet. This is known as proxemics, a framework Edward T. Hall developed to measure spatial relationships. When a woman is drawn to you, this invisible barrier collapses. She stands closer than necessary, sits beside you when there are other open seats, brushes past you in spaces that don't require closeness. Her nervous system is saying, get closer to this one. And it doesn't just happen once, it happens again and again. She remains in your orbit. She finds reasons to stand near. She leans in when she speaks. She moves inside your zone of comfort, not by accident, but because something within her is already reaching for you. Men who don't notice often worry they're intruding, but the ones who understand recognize when it's she who's stepping into their space. Pining is ancient. In animals, it's grooming. In humans, it's self-touch. Hair adjustments, lip checks, clothing smoothing. These gestures spike when a woman is attracted, but only when you're watching. If she flips her hair or adjusts her dress while glancing at you, while holding eye contact, it's not random, it's display. This is reverse peacocking. She's highlighting her physical presence for you. And if you notice it happening more when you're around, not others, then you've just heard a door creak open. Touch is where words end and truth begins. We lie with language, we smile to hide, but touch tells the truth. When a woman begins finding excuses to touch you, a hand on your arm when she laughs, a tap on your chest, a knee pressing into yours under the table, it's not arbitrary, it's escalation. She's checking your receptivity. She's measuring how you react. She's speaking a language older than words. Psychologist Matthew Hertenstein's work showed that humans can accurately identify emotional states through touch alone, without seeing facial expressions or hearing tone. So when she touches you and the contact lasts just a second too long, when her fingertips don't withdraw immediately, when she makes contact that doesn't need to happen at all, that's not an accident, that's a signal, and she's watching your response. Eye contact is a battleground. Most people can't hold it for more than a few seconds without discomfort. But when a woman locks eyes with you, gently, steadily, with warmth or parted lips, she's using what researchers call the copulatory gaze. This gaze isn't casual, it's chemical. It triggers oxytocin, the bonding hormone, the same one released during sex. She's not trying to seduce you with her words, she's bonding with you through her biology. And here's what separates the men who pass the test from those who fail. The uncalibrated man looks away, too afraid to be seen. The grounded man holds it and lets the silence speak for him. Now we shift from passive attraction to intent. She begins to orchestrate isolation. She finds moments to be alone with you, outside in the hallway, at a quieter table. She doesn't just accept your company, she creates it. Why? Because privacy lowers risk. She's giving herself a space where intimacy can expand without interruption. Robert Triver's parental investment theory explains why. Women face higher biological risks with sexual decisions, so they require conditions that feel safe and fluid. When she says, "Let's go over there," or "Come with me," or "I want to show you something," it's not casual, it's calculated. And if you miss it, you miss the moment that could have changed everything. And finally, language becomes layered. She starts speaking in puzzles, mentions her bed, her apartment, being home alone, staying up late. "I'm tired, I might just crash when I get home." To the literal man, she's just tired. To the perceptive man, she's inviting the conversation to shift. This is what Deborah Tannen called indirect speech in female courtship. Not because women are deceptive, but because ambiguity is safety. She wants to see if you speak her language, if you can read between the words, if you're bold enough, subtle enough, grounded enough to dance in subtext. The men who fail respond literally. The men who understand mirror the energy, not with aggression, but with rhythm. "Sounds dangerous, should I be worried?" Or, "Maybe you need better company tonight." That's not a line, that's fluency. These 6 signals, when seen together, form a map. A silent map of interest, invitation, and intent. And here's what most men never realize. These signals don't appear unless she's already decided. Not whether she likes you, but whether she wants you. Her body has already voted. Her nervous system has already chosen. Your role isn't to convince her. It's to notice, to respond, to walk with the quiet certainty of a man who sees what others overlook. Because the women worth knowing don't wait for you to ask. They wait for you to finally notice. There's something that happens when a man begins to see the unseen. The world itself doesn't change, but perception does. And once that shift begins, the game you thought you were playing quietly disappears, replaced by something deeper, older, more real. We walk through 6 powerful signals, 6 hidden cues women give when attraction is no longer subtle, but still unspoken. For most men, even recognizing one of those signs would feel like revelation. But what comes next, what we explore now, lives at an even deeper layer. Because not all desire is bold. Some forms of desire are quiet, some are shy, some hide bare. In teasing, behind stillness, behind casual disinterest that doesn't quite add up. These signals don't emerge loudly. They don't announce themselves. They arrive wrapped in behavior coated in subtext. Not because she wants to mislead you, but because safety must always come before surrender. A woman may be open to intimacy, but before that, she must first feel seen. Not just physically, but emotionally. She needs to know you are paying attention to more than her words, that you're listening to the space between them. When a woman feels drawn to you but isn't ready to show it directly, her desire often emerges sideways. She teases you, corrects you, disagrees with you, not with anger but with a smile. At first glance this looks like resistance, but it's not. It's calibration. She's testing how you handle friction, whether you collapse, whether you push back, or whether you hold your ground with calm energy. This is her nervous system creating friction to feel connection. It's the emotional equivalent of bumping shoulders with someone and watching what happens next. A woman who jokes with you, who challenges you playfully, who tosses jabs with a spark in her eye. She's not being difficult. She's checking to see if you're stable enough to hold the weight of what she hasn't said out loud. Another signal lives in rhythm. Scientists call it limbic synchronization. When a woman feels drawn to you, her body unconsciously starts to mirror your pace. You lean back, she does too. You pause while speaking, she mirrors that pause. You laugh, and she follows just a moment later. Most people miss this because it's subtle, but it's real. It's not mimicry, it's nervous system alignment. Her breath, her speech, her tempo begins to reflect yours. This is her biology saying, I trust you enough to match your rhythm. And when two nervous systems begin to mirror each other, what once felt like tension becomes flow, and flow becomes chemistry. There's another moment most men miss completely. You say something funny, she laughs, but then she looks at you, not to continue the conversation, not to ask a question, but just to see you, to hold eye contact for a beat longer than expected. In the stillness after the sound fades, that look, that moment of stillness, is not about the joke, it's about the feeling behind it. Laughter disarms us, and once the body relaxes, the eyes become more honest. If she looks at you unguarded in the seconds after laughter, she's not thinking about what to say next. She's letting you in. Some signs are even quieter, the kind of quiet you could mistake for coincidence. When a woman begins to open up emotionally, but only when you're around, it's never random. She shares something vulnerable, a fear, a family story, a past relationship that hurt. She doesn't tell you everything, but she tells you something. Not loudly, not for performance, just a soft truth, spoken like a whisper that wasn't meant to be rehearsed. The key is this: she doesn't peek this way around everyone. She becomes emotionally generous only when you're present, not because she wants attention, but because something inside her feels safe. This isn't seduction, this is exposure. And if you miss this moment, you don't just miss the connection, you miss the foundation of what it could become. The last sign is one of return, the return loop. She leaves, she drifts, but then she circles back. Maybe it's a message, maybe it's a joke, maybe it's a reference to something small you once shared. It doesn't matter what it is, it matters that she came back. Women don't chase, they don't pursue the way men do, but they return to what feels emotionally resonant. This is her nervous system refusing to let the connection dissolve. And when this happens more than once, it's no longer curiosity, it's continuity. She's trying to prolong something without naming it. Most men don't notice, because they're too busy chasing. But the man who knows how to remain grounded, how to stay available without being anxious, he becomes the center she returns to. Not because she needs validation, but because being near him feels like calm. At this point, you are no longer guessing. These aren't random behaviors, they are invitations, not to her body, but to her world, her internal state, her emotional frequency. This is not manipulation, this is presence. This is what happens when you stop searching for permission and start listening with your whole attention. Attraction doesn't always look like seduction. Sometimes it looks like hesitation, like overthinking, like awkward silence, or asking what you're doing later, twice, even though you already said. Behind all of it is a woman hoping that you see her. Not the version she's performing, but the truth she's signaling. And the man who sees, he doesn't need permission. He doesn't need certainty. He doesn't need the perfect line. He simply walks with quiet recognition, not because he's better, but because he's learned to listen to the one language the world forgot how to hear.